Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Derek Stokes for Stoked Living. Appreciate you guys coming, hanging out with me today. Man, it is a hot one here in Oklahoma. Temperature gauge says 96, so you think, well, that ain't too bad. Well, the heat index is 107. So we had a little bit of rain yesterday, so the humidity is kicked up, and it is a hot one. So I'm gonna come out here, check on the animals, give them some fresh water, and make sure everything's a go out here. Just a second. Let me dump the water out over here. You can dump it out for me? Alright, let's check on see if we got any quail eggs. Check on their feed. Still got plenty of feed down in here. Oh man. Someone said, what's a handful of quail eggs? I said about 20. Well, that's about a handful there. And that is 9 eggs. Alright, see if I can get through here without you knocking me down, Margaret. You stinking old goat. Get back. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Watch out. Margaret, watch out. Alright. Go feed chickens. There you go, ladies. Get your eggs. Put them all in the same one here. 2, 4, 6, 7. Alright, there you go. We got 10 eggs out of there. Ain't too bad. Ain't too shabby. Philip, he went and got some dust, some dirt for the... Here, I'll watch it right here. They're all crowding in there. Hey, y'all just need to take your turn.
Oh, it's like a ball right there.
Yeah, that's where the roosters breeding. They're enjoying that, ain't they? My old strawberry plant's doing pretty good right here. They're really taking off. Yeah. We'll put some water on it here in a little bit.
Right here is okay. That one's just going.
Yeah, this one they're starting to spread out some runners. And my one strawberry plant.
Still alive.
Still alive, hanging on. Got a bunch of dead strawberry plants in here.
Mom's home. Oh.
All right, Mom's home. Well, the animals look like they're doing good. It's hot, but they've got plenty of water and shade, and got a little bit of breeze, so that helps out also. It's not too bad if you get out of the sun. Try this new system on my tomato plants. I'm not quite sure about it. It's called the Florida Weave, and I think it's doing okay on some of them, like these right here. But man, I must have had a water leak. I turned my soaker hose on and it's like flooded through here. I just turned it off. Eeks. That ain't good. But see right here, my string broke, I'm assuming, and it's falling over. So I've got to figure out what I'm going to do here. And I'm working in a flood zone. Oh boy. What a mess. What a mess. Yeah, I think I went with this other type of string, and I heard a few people say, you know, use a biodegradable string, whatever. I don't know, but I think it biodegraded too quick because they fell over. So I'm gonna have to go. I'll use this again, but I'll bring some other string in here to patch it up. So I kind of got these off the ground a little bit. I'm gonna weave this one up in there. Now my Florida Weave looks like some kind of fence off of Jurassic Park. Going every which direction. But you know, I wouldn't say it's a failure quite yet, because I'm still learning on this, on what to do and what not to do. So, and if you're going to do this right here, use some really good string. But it's still standing. But then we had a rain yesterday, and it might have done it then. I don't know. Or they're starting to put on tomatoes, so they're getting a lot more weight to them too. So that could play a part in it also. But you can see I broke here and there, and it just ain't holding. Not a holding. And then these soaker hoses, I've been having a lot of blowouts on them, which some of them are older soaker hoses, and then some of them I bought last year, so they're all mixed in, intertwined together. I don't know which one's the old, which one's the new. So I'm gonna have to probably look at something else for my irrigation. I've seen a guy work. He's got that old tubes that you got the little sprayer you put every so often. And my parents, they put that in. Actually, my brother did that for Mom for Mother's Day, I think it was. So I think Dad's enjoying it. But as of right now, my garden's kind of hurting a little bit. My Sunflowers, they straighten back up. My zinnias are doing good. Looking good like they should. Corn is tasseling out a little bit. It won't be long with that. But it took a beating with that storm also. So I don't know. We're just part of gardening. There's a lot of successes and failures. I think in farming in general, there's a lot of successes and failures. But I wouldn't say they're quite the failures, because a failure would be the next year you just wouldn't do anything, or you just give up on it. But I'm always trying something different, and sometimes I do the same things over and over again, and I have to, like, man, Derek, why'd you do that? But I think it's just life in general. I find myself doing the same things over and over again. Okay, gotta be smarter than that. But you know, it took old Thomas Edison. It took him quite a while to get that light bulb. We're not quite doing light bulb work out here, but I'm making it that way. All right, I'm going to get the rest of these right here kind of stood up. And okay, so I think a lot of it, I'm going to have to wait till it dries out to do this side. But I think a lot of it has to do with the weight. As these things are growing up, these things get pretty heavy. And that string I bought was just way too cheap. And I kind of thought that it held up better than that. But I think it's just a really cheap string. That's my problem. That's my problem. Little banana peppers, they're really starting to put on. They're liking this hot weather. You know, and these tomatoes, they're going to slow down. They don't like hot weather either. I'm going to get this tomato right here. I want to eat it. I'm going to eat it tonight. Yeah, that's the gardens. Weeds are doing good. A lot of work. A lot of work. My broccoli slowed down. It's not liking this hot weather either. We've harvested a little bit off of it. Still waiting for my Brussels sprouts. I don't know if they're, never done them before. Okay, I'm guessing that they grow right there. Oh yeah, they are. They're growing down there. They grow around that stem. I don't even know how these things grow. But yeah, if you see down here, they grow right down there. See, you got them budding up. Hey, I'll have Brussels sprouts here pretty soon. Woo-wee! I like the Brussels sprouts. Just never grown them before. But right down here, these are my zinnias. They're growing. Got some beautiful blooms on there. We took a bouquet to our Nanny B, Katie's grandma, and she really enjoyed them. I need to pick some more. And then here's my cucumbers. Man, and grasshoppers. Look at that. So you got grasshopper poop all over the leaves right there. Oh man, wow. I didn't get to those in time. That's what's crazy about these cucumbers. They're easy to miss. I'll eat that one. Oh, there's one right there. And they grow so stinking fast. That one might be. Okay. I think these are a different kind of cucumber because they get big and round really, really quick. It's like they balloon up. There's not many little ones. It's just those. There's a little bitty one there. A little bitty one there. It's like there's no in-betweens. There's an in-betweener. Yeah. That's probably the size I need to get them. Man, they're hard to find. They're real easy to see when they turn big and yellow. Like, hey, here I am. Fail. There we go. The cows will come over and eat the cucumbers. Wilson, get out of my cucumbers. You don't need those. I gotta go wash Wilson slobbers off of them now. It's funny, this dog, I almost called him a daggum dog, that wouldn't be very nice. This dog, he doesn't worry about anything, like bother anything, unless I touch it and it looks like it's of value to me. Then he's interested in it. If I never touch it, if it's just there on the ground, he just goes about. But if I touch something, he knows, hey, old dad, he likes that, so I must like it too. And I'm going to chew it up because it tastes good. Ain't that right, Wilson? Don't look so guilty. So those of you who are new to gardening, most of the time you have a universal basket, vegetable basket, fruit basket, whatever you want to call it, and it's built into you right here. There's many a times I'll see my dad walking to the house with a shirt like this. Yep, that's a universal vegetable hauler. Put my tomatoes in there. You don't want to put those on bottom because then you gotta get the shout out. Getting quite a bit of stuff off the garden. We got a good scald on the green beans. Been getting lots of squash, yellow squash, zucchini. My lettuce and stuff, it's pretty well done. Gotten too hot for that. Man, the grasshoppers are. Look at them grasshoppers. Look at them weeds. I got what I'm gonna get for dinner tonight. Some tomatoes and cucumbers, and banana pepper. Slice all that up. Be some good eating. Well, appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me and going through my failures and my successes and everything else, just part of farming. Because we'll learn from it together, or might be just learning on my end. I'm gonna watch Derek get a good laugh. I like to laugh and have a good time. It's a good thing that I'm not like having to do this for a living, because I'm probably going hungry. Oh, it's fun. It's fun learning together. Well, it's that time again. It's been a while since we've had Mom in the kitchen. No, she's been in the kitchen a bunch of times.
I've been in there ever since.
It's been a while since I had me and Mom in the kitchen all at once. That's yes. More like it. All right, well, Dad, he got out in the garden this evening and picked some green beans. He's over here, if you listen real close. That snapping noise, yeah, that's Dad, okay? And he's over there snapping green beans. Mom's canning green beans. She has already done a few, and so she's just going to kind of give you a rundown on what canning green beans is all about. I don't know a whole lot about it. I did the picking and the snapping, but she did the canning, so I'm going to learn right there along with you. This is the master at his work right here.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it, baby.
Yep.
It's all the rest.
Yeah.
So you just snap them to about an inch long on the beans. Kind of take the tail and the head off, and
Yep.
just snap the rest of it.
There you go.
So,
usually, like at a baseball game or something like that, you take a bag of green beans and you get a whole bunch of help.
basically and I'm kind of eyeballing it as I kind of go through it, and if there's any bad ones, And I usually wash them twice. So like right there's a bad one. So you're just kind of getting the dirt off of them and getting them washed up. So we'll get us enough here going into there. And then we just basically pull it out. And we're going to get ready to pack them into our jar. This is called a raw pack. If you guys want to know all the details on canning, the way I've learned was basically my mother told me, but I didn't quite trust Mom and Grandma and all of the things that they would sometimes say, and so I wanted to know what the experts said. So I bought me this book way back in the day, and you can still get it. It's my Kerr home canning and freezing book, and it'll tell you how to do everything. Right here's green beans. It'll tell you how to pack it, raw pack it or hot pack it, and how long to process it. My jars, I put in my dishwasher. I just fill up my whole dishwasher with it, and I run it on a wash, and then I sanitize it on the drying part, so it dries it real hot. And so basically, I've sanitized my jars using my dishwasher. And so now we're gonna basically and we are just filling those jars up. And you'll want to shake them down because you can get a lot more in there than and you just pack it in there. It's about 1/4 of an inch from the top. So you don't want it, basically don't want it touching the lid when you put the lids on there, is what we're trying for there. So you'll just fill up your jars. I'm going to do a couple of them here.
And you're using the wide mouth jar?
Yes, I like to use the wide mouth for the green beans. It's just easier to pack them in there. You don't have to. You can use the small mouth, but I just like it. Just easier to do. The little recipe over there calls for you to put a teaspoon of canning salt. This is canning and pickling salt that you can get. I think what it is, it doesn't have the iodine in it, I think is what the difference is. I don't put that much in there. I put just about 1/2, maybe 1/3 in there. So I'm just dumping a little bit in there. And then this is just boiling hot water that I boiled earlier. And I'm going to fill these up to about 1/4 of an inch to the top of it. So okay, now what this does is it takes, you just stick it down the sides, and what you're doing is getting air bubbles out of there. So just run that down the sides of all your jars. Because green beans kind of have air pockets in them. Going around the top of it, just getting any extra, like maybe salt granules that may have gotten up on there on it. If you're canning something that's sticky or whatever, you want to make sure you can clean the tops off of your jars there. I'm also feeling for chips in the jars. I reuse the jars, and they've been passed down from generation to generation, and they chip and break, and so you don't want to use one of those. Now, here are two, and I think I've told you guys about these tools before, but this right here is a handy dandy little magnet. You can just reach in there and grab hold of a lid without burning yourself. And you're just going to screw that down just hand tight there.
It's pretty green.
Come on. There are 2 of them stuck together there. Here we go. were doing all of that, we were, I had my canner going here. Now, it's not cinched down or anything like that. It's just heating up is all it's doing. And it's boiling good. Obviously, you want to do this pretty quickly. You don't want your jars to cool down. You want everything to stay as hot as you can while you're doing it. If these were to cool down and I set them in that hot water like that, they would break the bottom of the jars. Sometimes the jars do break. Not often, but they can. And you're just setting those down in there into the water like that. I had about this much water in the bottom of it, and when I put the jars in there, it's now up to about 2/3 of the side of the jars. You don't have to have them covered or anything like that. And so this is a pressure cooker. Got your dial there that's going to show you what the pressure is. Have this ring inside there. Sometimes that ring gets kind of off balance or kind of kinked or whatever, and so if it starts spewing out the side, you've got your little seal is not positioned in there just right. But this one looks like it should do pretty good. And you drop it down there on there, and there's a right way and a wrong way, and it'll only go on there the right way. So, okay, now it's cinched in there. And I've got it on high. And so what we're going to do is let this continue to boil. And here in a little bit, you can kind of see it right now. You can kind of see the steam coming up. Here in about a minute or two, that thing's going to really be, it looks like a geyser coming off of there. And then that's when you put this little device that comes with it. You'll set it on top of there. That kind of closes off any escape of the steam. And then the pressure starts building. And in the book, it tells you that we're going to pressurize this at 10 pounds of pressure. So I need to get it up at least to 10. I can get it up to 15, not going to hurt anything. This little black area, you want to keep it away from the black area. So between 10 and 15 is where I try to balance it. And you handle that by just turning your temperature up or down. And you're going to get it to that temperature, and then you start your timing, and you'll go for 25 minutes pressuring. Foods that are non-acid, like your green beans and beets and things like that, your tomatoes are an acid food. The non-acid foods you have to pressure cook. The tomato stuff, the pecani and stuff like that, we just hot water bath those. Jellies, hot water bath, but your green beans, and it'll tell you in that little book, if you get that little book, it'll tell you whether you have to hot water bath it or pressure cooker it. These are kind of dangerous. I've only had one to explode on me, and it was my own fault. I was actually running 3 pressure cookers. I had a fish fryer out on the back porch and had one on it. And I had put the water, I'd set the water on it like this, and it was not cinched down. The lid was just sitting on top of it, and I was heating it up. And I got busy in here doing all of this and forgot about it. And then all of a sudden I hear this, and the whole house kind of shook. And what it did, it was probably a good thing that it wasn't cinched down. It was a good thing that I was not out there. It sprayed water all over my kitchen window here and stuff like that. So hot water just spewed everywhere. But it built up enough pressure with it just sitting there, not cinched down, that it blew the lid off of it, and it went up and hit the ceiling of the porch, and then came back down, and it just spewed hot water everywhere. Wow. So just be careful with them. They're not dangerous if you pay attention and watch them, and you're alert around them. They are very handy with that. I don't know if you guys know the little Instapots that they have right now. That they are basically pressure cookers, is what they are. Much safer than these are. And
can you do the green beans in those?
I cannot, because it's not big enough to set the jars in. And I It doesn't have a rack. Oh, that was the other thing I meant to point out.
I saw it in the video. I saw the rack.
Yeah. Right here, we can do this one. There. This rack right here is really, really important that you have a rack or a little cylinder kind of pan down in the bottom of that. What happens is your jars have a concaveness to the bottom of the jars. If they were to set just straight on the pan, it creates a vacuum in there, and it sucks the jar and it'll break the bottom of the jar.
Oh, wow.
If I ever have a jar to break in there, it'll be at the bottom of the jar, and it just cracks all the way around the bottom of it. And you go and pick it up to set it out, and all your green beans just fall out. If you have a jar to break, usually. But it's really important that you have that rack on there to keep that vacuum. So what I'll be doing now is just starting another batch. I'll kind of heat a little bit more water up, and
whenever you pull these out,
yes, you have to let it go. You have to let the pressure go all the way back down. So it takes a while.
Yeah.
Even though I'm going to pressure it up to 25 minutes, so it's about an hour process. And then it'll cool down. You don't want to take this thing off until your gauge is all the way down to 0, because if you do, it'll start spewing water out that little pipe there. But you let it cool down, take it out, lift them out, and they will look like this. They'll have the rings on them, and I take and didn't do a very good job of that, but I take, once they're completely cool, we'll take and soapy water and wash the outside of the jars and things, and then they're ready to put the dates on them and store them away. Okay, when it gets ready to set this little, I think this is called a pico or something like that. I forget what it's called, but it'll be steaming like that. And so basically when it gets to going almost like a geyser there, you will set it on top of there, and then this thing pushes up and it seals too. So this little thing and the ring inside there, if you're going to if it's not sealing good, you'll order the ring, and it will come with one of these little that's a safety valve. It's a pop-off valve.
Pop-off valve, yeah.
And so here in just a little bit, you'll start seeing the little gauge start going up a little bit, maybe. Too off long.
Okay.
When I get it on here and get it going, I listen a lot of times. And if I forget, let's say I'm getting busy and I'm going over snapping or whatever, when this thing starts getting up to about 10 to 15, this little thing over here will really start singing at you. It'll start going back and forth, and you'll hear a like that, and you'll know, oh, it's getting too hot. And so I run over here, but it's going up a little bit now. Singing at you?
Yeah. It's kind of singing a little bit.
Yep. So you just turn it down and you just watch it. But if it gets too high, it'll start singing at you, and that's my indicator that better check it.
All right, so this is what the finished product looks like. And it's ready to eat right there?
Oh yeah. I mean, normally I put it in a pan, and I may add some more seasonings to it, maybe some bacon or new potatoes or whatever you want to put with them, but they're basically ready to eat.
Awesome.
So you could eat them cold if you wanted to, because they're processed, they're cooked.
Yep. All right, so these are cooking, and I got to work in the morning, and it's getting late.
It is.
Mom, she's a night owl, so.
Do my best work, and everybody's asleep.
Yep, which I kind of am too, but I need to head back to the house. So, Mom, appreciate you sharing this with us.
You're welcome. Glad to see you guys again.
Yep, we'll see you on the next one.
Alrighty, sounds good.
All right.
Take
God
care.
bless. We'll see you.